has beaten Valkyrie, another team from Quebec, 15-6 at the first game earlier this morning, while Coy has lost against PPF earlier today.
So Venus set to pull, looking ready for their second break of the game.
Gabriel Baudouin with the pull, number 28.
In play now for Coy. Surveying for an option, looks up line, pressure defense, but that one's reeled in. Now centering towards the middle again. Up line, but that one just bobbled off the hands of the receiver. And immediately looking for the deep option, and this time picked off by Coy. They will go up line, just keeping that one in bounds. But the second shot just needs to be dialed in a little bit here from this blue team.
So Venus back in possession. There is a little wind sideways on the field, going away from where we are right now.
So just outside of the end zone and easily up the line into the end zone for the goal. Bissette Brault with the assist to Marie-Ève Trudel, and just like that, 2 breaks and it's 2-0.
I'm sure the Venus coaching staff will be very pleased with the way their team has started this game. Very intense. You can hear just by their cheering. They're very into this game, and they have a plan. Is to win it and make sure they secure at least a second top spot in their pool for the rest of the tournament.
So Venus happy to go up the line on each of these shots as well. They are confident in their ability to beat their defender each time, so not too concerned with centering it back to the middle here as well right now.
Alors bonjour à tous, nous sommes à Brampton, Ontario pour le championnat canadien d'Ultimate édition 2018. Merci d'être avec nous. Je suis avec Becky Thompson, notre autre pour aujourd'hui, et je suis Étienne Fournier. Je serai l'analyste descripteur de ce match qui oppose Vénus du Québec, actuellement classée 8e du tournoi dans la division féminine. Et elles sont opposées à Coy de la Colombie-Britannique, qui sont actuellement classés 10e du tournoi. Les deux sont dans le pool B. Ils sont respectivement Vénus est le numéro 2, tandis que Coy est le numéro 3.
And immediately there, Coy looking just to center it off the pull, and that one is put straight into the ground. Venus now. Goulet shooting into coverage, but it's brought down. Another inside shot. Maltino about 10 yards out of the end zone finds the reset. Goulet again. Right into the end zone, catches the defender, not looking at the disc. Dobek Bradet with the goal.
There was only in the 3 break points, there was only one turn by Venus, so very committed, very disciplined when they get the disc back. And you saw their end zone play on offense, very disciplined with a nice straight stack and nice handling work. So now there's a timeout call, I believe, by Coy, who just want to regroup and try to mitigate the bleeding, because they are suffering now 0-3 at the scores. So looking to get back into this game and to at least break the ice in regards of scoring and just put 1 point at the scoreboard.
And at this point, Etienne, if you're a coach, you're 3 breaks right off the bat down. What are you saying to Coy to get them back into this?
I believe their mistake were purely like execution. You just need to breathe in, breathe out, stay cool, stay chill, just get back to the basic of, cutting with confidence, passing with confidence, and things will get back. You see their body language are a little, they look a little discouraged by their start of the game, but they need to straight up and respond to Venus. They have the ability to do it, so it's just a matter of execution.
So Venus off to a really good, confident start here. They're putting enough defensive pressure to cause turns right off the bat here from this Coy team. Coy unable to string more than 2 passes together so far. So needing to come out of this timeout strong to generate some momentum.
Alors Vénus qui mène maintenant 3-0. 3 points bris ont été comptés. Donc la ligne offensive de Vénus qui n'a pas eu à s'exprimer jusqu'à date en ce début de match. On vous rappelle qu'on est ici à Brampton, jeudi matin pour le championnat canadien, édition 2018.
Tamido will pick up here for Coy. And a drop in the middle, and this is the same mistakes we're seeing from this British Columbian team right now. Is the disc positioned in the middle, looking for the reset, and this is the first time we've seen Coy actually generate a defensive turn of their own.
That will definitely give them some confidence.
Centered to Doe. Shoots inside. Now up line, and another unfortunate drop, but a few more passes strung together there for Coy. If they can continue to build off that. A huge layout grab in the middle of the field to retain possession. Shot right away, and the layout into the end zone for the goal. Incredible grab there from Beset Broad. Venus with another break, and they're on the board with 4.
That's pretty typical of a game, of a team that has confidence into their playing. You see, they're leading by 3. They're just going for the break throws, and they catch it. They rely on their receivers' ability to go for the disc, and those two layouts are very representative of a team that's very confident into their both throwings and cutting. While on Coy is just like a backbreaker. You're just looking to get some momentum, and when you see the other team that everything they do, they can accomplish it and complete their games. It's pretty tough to recover from that. So Coy is a team from BC. They have only played 2 tournaments this year, and it's a first-year team that's mainly composed of a rookie, a few vets on the lineup also, but mainly rookies, and they're really here to get some tournament experience.
So disc down in play now. Coy reeling that one in a little bit high. Venus still down in this person-to-person defensive set. Gonzalez shoots the disc up line to Lim. Lim holsters the first few. A hand block touch, but it's reeled in anyways. Borja with the disc. Another inside shot to Petra Stevens. The layout D attempt. They will just untangle themselves from each other. Stevens, 10 yards off the end zone, looking for Coy's first goal. Into the middle now, shot into the end zone, and that is the first non-turnover point we've seen from this Vancouver team. Clean point, they've got themselves on the board at 4-1.
So that's a relief for Coy, scoring a first point of the game. They're still trailing 4-1, but that's definitely a relief from for the coach and for the team also. So great execution, they were very patient, although Venus put a lot of pressure. You saw the layout bid, that was a very legitimate, even though there was a little contact, but that's how Venus is playing their D game, really tight man-to-man, or women-to-women defense, I should say. So great game so far, even though Venus has a lead of 4-1.
Yeah, absolutely a good start here, and they'll be happy with that first offensive point as well in terms of finally working it up the field, but we're going to have to see what they can do differently on defense. Venus so far fairly unguardable, especially in those up the line positions. They're burning their defenders on each cut, so Coy is going to have to do something a little bit different to shut that down.
Alors Venus qui mène 4-1, Coy qui vient d'inscrire son premier point du match ayant brisé la glace. Il tire toujours de l'arrière par 3 points. C'est la première présence de leur ligne défensive, et de l'autre côté, Venus en sera la première présence de la ligne offensive.
So in play now. Koi down, person-to-person defense. That one's shot up and high, but reeled in by Baudouin. Should find a receiver up the line who shoots deep, looking to the end zone, and that is the third point on the board for Bessette-Brault, bringing this game to 5-1 for Venus.
Textbook execution from Venus offensive line. Really good, nice, clean cutting with a great passing when there was a great separation between the Venus striker and her defender. So I'm sure the coaching staff will be very pleased with that execution. Sometimes when the first time your O-line gets on the field after the D-line has broken a few times, you can be confident, but there can be some, it's still the first point of your game. So you need to make sure the execution is good, which it was in the last point. So Venus still leading 5-1.
Yeah, sometimes just needing to work out a few of those kinks to get your offensive line going, but this unit clearly no issues with that. And Lisandre Bessette-Brault with 3 points on the board already for herself, and an incredible player. We're seeing her unguardable from this Koi team.
Alors la ligne défensive de Venus est sur le terrain avec le numéro 14, Geneviève Richard, pour le lancer d'engagement. So still a man-to-man defense from Venus. Koi looking for answer, shooting for a bomb. It's being intercepted on defense. So Venus in possession at their goal line.
Venus ready for that one. They had 2 defenders in help coverage on that deep throw. Koi trying to generate a little bit of confidence, going for a bigger play right off the pull. But now Venus in possession again, a chance to go all the way up the field to break as Pelletier shoots upfield. Richard now resetting the disc. Bélanger Timothy finds another shot in Pelletier upfield. Venus, no problems working it up the field, looking for the reset and gets it. Now back up line. Richard into the end zone, gets the point, the goal, Dolbec Bradette, and that is 6-1 here for this Quebec team.
In the last goal, I just love the pass and run from Geneviève Richard, who just resets it to the dump Cat Vio, and just the minute the disc left her hand, she just busted up the line and just pass and run, and then Joachim that was open in the end zone to score a 6 point by Venus, leading by 5 early in this first half. Alors Venus qui mène 6-1, un autre point bris de la part de Venus, qui mène toujours 5-1. On a vu sur la dernière séquence une très belle exécution de Richard, qui a vraiment fait un passe et court avec la vétérane Catherine Villot pour inscrire le point. On the last play, we saw number 88, Marie-Michelle Bélanger-Timothy, who did a great just resetting the job, the disc near the end zone. And it's always good to see that about 30 minutes prior to this pass, she was breastfeeding on the sideline with her newborn baby. So congratulations for the little one, and it's always a good picture to see at the CUC.
So disc now back into play. Koi looking for another hold and response under pressure there. They're going to shoot deep, the open receiver, but maybe just too much time to think about that throw as it bobbles straight off of her hand and gives Venus another chance here. Baudouin shooting a huck of her own back the other way. Trudel with the grab, holsters near the end zone and goes for the around backhand, but that one, the defender ready. Koi a little bit lucky to have that one back. Lim now finds a receiver upfield. Resets to the middle for Carol Wu. And that one too low again for a receiver. Venus trying to take advantage. That blades, but reeled in anyways, and an open Baudouin in the end zone, and Venus are running away with this game.
Every time Coy is completing a pass, there's always a Venus defender that have a legitimate bid on the disc. So that's a lot of pressure for an O-line trying to find themselves or find some momentum. So very hard for Coy to score. And let's give some credit to Venus D-line, which is all over the place so far in this game. And when they are very quick on the transition from defense to offense. The minute they have the disc, they're just putting it back, just doing a quick reset. And there's always at least one or two players that just strike towards the end zone to give some space. So tough challenge for Coy so far, which trails 1-7 in this first half.
Venus now with an opportunity to break to take half at 8. They will be looking to do this very quickly as this game only started 17 minutes ago, Etienne.
Very fast-paced game so far.
Disc in for Coy. Over to the near sideline. Noel has it and shooting upfield, but that bobbles off the hands of Stephanie Wu and into the hands of Venus. Now looking for a reset. Upfield now. Belanger Timothy shooting that one, and that's going to be easily grabbed in as well. Marie-Eve Martineau with the break and the goal to take half.
Venus taking half 8-1, having scored 7 of their 8 points with their D line. So so far it's a one-way direction game in favor of a Venus. So Coy will have to regroup during that halftime to see how they can address and at least give Venus a challenge for the second game of their tournament. Alors 8-1 le pointage en faveur de Venus versus Coy de la Colombie-Britannique. Venus qui a inscrit 7 de ses 8 points avec leur ligne défensive. Ils ont été intraitables envers la ligne offensive de Coy qui n'a pas trouvé de réponse jusqu'à date. Alors sûrement des réponses qu'ils chercheront lors de cette pause de la mi-temps. On rappelle que les deux équipes en sont à leur deuxième match aujourd'hui. Ils ont joué un peu plus tôt aujourd'hui. Venus l'ayant remporté contre Valkyrie, une autre équipe du Québec, pour le pointage de 15-6, tandis que Coy a été défait contre PPF un peu plus tôt ce matin, sur ce même terrain. Alors les deux équipes qui sont dans le pool B de la division féminine de ce championnat canadien d'Ultimate.
We're going to take a really short break here as well. We'll be back in a couple minutes with second half action. Welcome back to the 2018 Canadian Ultimate Championships here in Brampton, Ontario. It's Becky Thompson up in the booth, joined by Etienne Fournier. And Etienne, we saw a very quick first half here. Only 20 minutes for Venus to take half 8-1 over Coy. And how can you sum up that first half for us?
Well, Venus has punished Coy for every mistake, unfortunately, they already have done in the first half, and they have broken 7 times to take a 8-1 lead in this first half. So the Venus just came out roaring into this game, and Coy will have to get some confidence back into their throwings and into their cutting, because so far Venus defense have been very suffocating. So looking forward to see how Coy will respond in that second half.
So Coy pulling to Venus. They've only done that one other time in the game so far. On their one hold, they managed to go down on defense. So still looking for their first break here, and only the second time that we've seen Venus's offensive line as well here, Etienne.
And at their first present in the first half, they have done a flawless execution. They have scored, I think it's in 5 or 6 passes, so without any turnovers. So let's see how they execute now. So there you go. Here's their first turnover of the O-line for Venus.
Marie-Eve Trudel unable to reel that one in, just flying a little bit high over her head. Gives Coy with their first chance to break now. Disc in play. Venus hip to hip person defense here. No options, so forced to shoot that disc into space. 2 Venus defenders in the same area. And Baudouin will pick up right away. Pai finds Cote. Now over to the near sideline, Saint-Gelais. Baudouin to the end zone, and that one floats too high over the top, and those are the first 2 mistakes we've seen now from this offensive unit.
There is a little sideways wind that just picked up the disc in the last sequence, which has led to this Venus turnover. So another opportunity for Coy to score a first break point in this game.
Working upfield now, Michelle Cho with the disc. Finds the reset in Lim. Backup line to Cho, and Baudouin picking that one off. Just baiting her offender there the entire way through. Baudouin again on the far sideline. Fakes the over the top and then shoots into the end zone. The hold right off the bat, and it's 9-1.
So Venus O-line that has lost 2 times the possession of the disc in the last point, and we're able to recover it. And I just love the way even though they had to play on defense, they were really hustling Coy's players and really just playing, as you mentioned, like hip-to-hip defense. So very, very tight defense. And we saw in the last Coy's possession, they try the stall was very high. They tried to just throw away the disc, and there was 2 Venus defender to attack that disc. So maybe that's one thing we saw from Coy, is that maybe their lack of experience. Even though the disc was floating, there was one receiver nearby, but the other receiver just stood away while she should have engaged herself into to get under the disc. So maybe she could have an opportunity to get a piece of it, or maybe what we call catch a garbage, so the disc that's being tiptoeing by many players and just ends up in somebody's hands somehow, some way. So I guess that's part of the experience that Coy is here to gain. Just go for that disc on offense, whatever the path of the disc. Alors Venus qui mène 9-1, qui vient d'inscrire un 9e point en ce début de 2e demi. On a vu la O-line, la ligne offensive plutôt, qui a eu 2 revirements, mais qui a su les reprendre et pour inscrire ce 9e point.
So Petra Stevens now shooting a great flick shot into space, straight to the end zone, just over the head, but the layout for the grab, and Coy has got to feel good about that one. Another clean offensive point, a big grab, and they double their score.
I just love the reaction of the team after this point. You see that they did a great execution. That's the first time I believe they complete a long pass during this game, so it will give them some confidence into their games, and just their reaction say, hey, this game is not over. We're still trailing by 7, but let's take 1 point at a time and make things happen.
And you never know what can happen with one break generated. That could be the momentum shifter that they need just to even know that they have the ability to generate that kind of play. So you never know what could happen. A couple breaks and they're right back in this one.
You know, it's the Canadian Championship. All the best teams in the countries are here, so you never know what can happen. And it's really about, as you mentioned, momentum shift is something that can happen. So let's see if Coys can leverage that last very well executed O-line point.
So third time out here for Venus's O-line. We'll see what the defensive unit here from Coy can do. As that pull goes up. Nice pull all the way down to the near corner of the end zone. High with the disc. The zone look from Coy. The first time we've seen a different defensive look in this game. Venus happy to just dish it back and forth between the two handlers of Dumont, Carey, and Pai.
So good decision by Coy. You know, you have to try new things. If it hasn't worked yet, you need to try to make things happen, and that's what they're trying to do right now.
That one floaty, but the huge grab from Trudel allows Venus to find some space and start to work it up. They force Coy to transition into their person defense. Looking now for the reset. And looking for Pai, and that one's picked off by Coy. Winnie Lou with the D there for the British Columbian team. Now looking for an option, shoots the around backhand. Managed to be caught by Michelle Cho, but the observer does signal out of bounds.
That's an opportunity for Venus. Coy hasn't had time to set up their zone defense, which was successful, but there's another turnover from Venus.
It's the first real drop we've seen. Venus, a couple have bobbled up their hands. That one arguably should have been caught. So Coy will definitely want to take advantage of this. So shoot inside, find the receiver. Camille Alvarez shooting to the end zone, and that is a break for Coy. Their first break of the game. Camille Alvarez with a huge flick huck to the back corner of the end zone to take it to 9-3.
So as you mentioned, Becky, the momentum that Coy seems to be building right now. So they've tried something new, tried to make a zone defense, which was successful, even though there was a turnover. They lost the disc again, and then Venus did an unforced error. So now Venus coaching staff are taking just a timeout just to regroup. It's the first time in this game they've been scored twice in a row, and the first time that Coy gets a break point. So just taking a few seconds just to breathe in, breathe out, smile, do not panic over this 2-point momentum that Coy is having, and get back to the basic and execute. Alors on vous rappelle qu'on est à Brampton, le championnat canadien 2018. On regarde présentement un match à la division féminine du Pool B qui oppose Vénus du Québec à Coy de la Colombie-Britannique. Et j'aimerais saluer Arsenic, équipe junior là, qui a terminé son tournoi hier, à savoir mercredi. Et Arsenic qui en était à sa première année au championnat canadien. Ils ont quand même terminé 9e sur un total de 20. Une excellente performance de Arsenic, compte tenu que l'équipe était composée essentiellement de joueuses qui en étaient à leur premier championnat canadien. Alors, on salue Arsenic pour leur brillante performance et toute la communauté du Ultimate du Québec est très fier de votre performance. I was mentioning about Arsenic, which is a junior team from Quebec, which was their first time at the national championship. They finished 9 out of 20, and for most of these players, it was their first time they were attending a national championship. So great experience, great performance by Arsenic. Congratulations.
So Koi now out of the timeout. They're going to want to keep that momentum going. I'm sure Rianne Bowlby down there, the coach, just trying to amp them up and not lose any of that tension that they are starting to build between the two teams here. And sometimes that can be a really good thing to start to frustrate another team as well, to generate those turnovers.
You're absolutely right. So we see that the pull about halfway down the field. So Venus O-line led by Kat Vio, number 31, trying to figure out Koi's zone defense. Great disc movement so far. Gabrielle Baudouin just passing and run. That was a fairly quick point by Venus. I think that there was no stall ever in that last point. So great execution, and just the Koi's wall has not been able to stop Venus. Just pass and run, just short passes. Great execution. Gabrielle Baudouin never hesitated and has completed, I think, probably 5 passes in the last 4 seconds. So great execution by Venus.
Yeah, Bissette Brault there with the goal, and just so happy to go up the field, dishing it through. And that must be one of the adjustments they made out of that timeout as well, recognizing that that previous zone play had affected them and stalled them into tight spaces too. So this time taking advantage of those spaces, going 1 and 2. And like you said, Etienne, I don't think the disc was in their hands for more than 1 second at a time.
I believe that regardless the zone you're being played against, your handler movement, you need to be very, very active and just have the disc move. Make sure that wall or whatever zone is not settled. Otherwise, if your defense is not moving because the disc is not moving, it's hard to find or to create some space. But when the disc is constantly moving, that's where you find the holes, and you can put the disc like behind that zone or behind that cup or behind that wall, and then find some momentum. So Venus leading 10-3.
And the pull up now. A hold here from Koi could help keep their momentum going as well. Stephanie Wu with the disc. Finding Camille Alvarez. Back to Wu. Wu shooting the big around flick, and Baudouin reaching, Koi reaching, but just right in between both of the players there.
Baudouin has a great game so far, getting involved in both defense and triggering some passes and some points on turnovers. So good game from Gab Baudouin, number 28. So unfortunate turnover by Venus near their about 10 yards shy of their own end zone. So Koi, great opportunity to score with their O-line on the field right now.
Wu running out of options and has to shoot that one into space with a high stall count. And uncharacteristic from Venus as well. We have seen them turn over the disc now, but we've seen all the turnovers come near Koi's end zone, and having Koi needing to work the disc 7 yards up the field. So possibly just unfortunate that they couldn't take advantage of this situation on the goal line. But good pressure defense from Venus to force the high stall count as Baudouin reels that one in, shoots another flick, but that one is floating. Time for the defender to catch up, but she can't get there. Bissette Brault now on the end zone line to Baudouin. 1 yard off the end zone, and there is the goal, making it look easy, going all the way up the field. Bissette Brault, and it's 11-3.
So I really love in the last point their isolation game there. Like Gabrielle Baudouin was really isolated on the break side. All the other players just stacked on the opposite side of the field, and you just threw the disc into space, and she just took her first step and beat her defender, and like after 2 quick long passes, They were like 1 yard shy of the end zone, just doing their basic end zone playing, and 4 passes, 1 point, 1 break point for Venus, now leading 11-3 in the second half of this game. Alors, très belle exécution de Venus sur la dernière séquence. On a vu Gabriel Baudouin avec le jeu d'isolation. Vraiment Baudouin qui était du côté fermé, mais fin seul avec son adversaire, tandis que toutes les autres joueuses étaient complètement de l'autre côté, alignées sur le côté opposé du terrain. Alors, il s'agit seulement de mettre le 10 dans l'espace. Baudouin a fait une belle course à attraper, a ensuite alimenté sa coéquipière, et puis après seulement 4 passes, Vénus qui inscrit un 11e point. C'est maintenant 11-3 pour l'équipe du Québec.
Tammy Doe shoots an inside shot to Michelle Cho. That one a little bit high, but also brought down by Carol Wu. Inside, and there is the Venus defender. Holsters that huck, looking for her next option. Goulet, the little lefty backhand. Bélanger Timothy. Looks like a pick called in the middle of the field.
Goulet has been throwing a few of those lefty backhand since the game has begun, so it's great skills that the new generation of players have developed and are getting advantage of pretty fairly in those games.
Bassinet now puts it to the end zone, and Venus again making it look so easy. Dolbeck Badet with the score. They're only 3 points away from winning this game.
So great execution again by Venus, like Bazinet attacking the break side, finding her teammates in the end zone. No hesitation from both the handler and the cutter, which drive a 12-point. Venus leading 12-3 late in this second half. Alors on a vu un peu plus tôt là, Goulet qui a exécuté une belle passe de la main gauche, alors que Catherine Goulet est droitière, et c'est une des habilités de passeurs là, que la nouvelle génération de joueuses et de joueurs ont maintenant, qui permet de compléter des petites passes bris dans l'espace. Très, très, très effectif, plutôt d'y aller avec un lancer droit ou un flic côté bris. On y va avec la main gauche. Alors, une belle démonstration de Goulet sur la dernière séquence. Et aussi Bazinet qui a brisé sa marque avec un lancer revers. Encore une fois, aucune hésitation tant de Bazinet que de la joueuse qui a inscrit le 12e point de Vénus. C'est maintenant 12-3 en cette fin de deuxième demi de ce match du championnat canadien d'Ultimate édition 2018, division féminine.
So 3 points away from Venus winning their second pool play game of the day. They beat Valley Cry this morning as well, fairly handily. So showing us already early in this tournament that their offense is so efficient and so quick when they use those transitions as well. As Coy now working upfield, Petra Stevens shoots that one too far over the head of her receiver. Venus a chance to go about 50 yards up the field to the end zone.
The coach Alex Timothée, the coach for Venus, is surely very pleased with his team playing so far. He's been coaching this team for a few years now, so great performance.
The disc reset, and Pai maybe thinking she already had that one in her hands as she looks at the ground in confusion. Coy with another opportunity here. But the drop right away, just a little bit of nerves getting into the heads of the team in blue here as Venus goes straight back. And a hand block from Petra Stevens. She's going to book it downfield, but no one is there to pick the disc up for Coy.
There might have been an opportunity, but Coy's player hesitated for a second, which has shut down the striking opportunity.
Now all the way upfield, they're 5 yards from the end zone, resetting the disc to Diana Chin. And then call in the middle of the field.
More likely a pick call, I believe, in the stack. So core right on the sideline, about at the brick mark height. Looking to score a 4th point during this game.
Now Petra Stevens, the inside shot, looking for Stephanie Wu, but well read by the defender here for Venus.
A timeout call by Venus. That point has been going for a while, so taking some time to catch their breath, gulp some water, and just regroup to score their 13 points of this game. I'm pretty sure that Venus don't want to, they want to close the book as soon as possible, leading 12-3 late in the second half. Alors Venus qui vient d'appeler un temps d'arrêt, alors que la ligne défensive de l'équipe québécoise est sur le terrain. Coy qui a eu l'opportunité d'inscrire un 4e point, mais que malheureusement fait une passe dans la défensive de l'équipe québécoise. Coy qui est une équipe de la Colombie-Britannique. On est à sa première année au championnat canadien, essentiellement composée de joueuses recrues qui en sont à leur première année d'expérience sur le circuit canadien. So weather-wise, there's a slight wind that was going sideways, but now seems to go from the right side to the left. Some breeze that can have some kind of a impact on the throws. Nothing too dramatic, although. From a heat perspective, it's a fairly warm day. I guess it will get warmer. And considering we're playing on the turf today, the weather is always warmer on the turf than on a natural grass. So when you play a 3-day tournament, if you play lots of games on the turf with the extra heat it drives, it can impact your the performance of your legs the further you go into the tournament.
Yeah, about 10 degrees hotter usually on a turf surface, and the humidity here is really what's going to get to these players too. Got to remember to hydrate extra. We saw quite a few cramps during the junior division, especially on these turf field games, so these athletes need to take care of their bodies. Venus working through the tighter defense that Coy has been able to bring out the second half of this game. A much closer game here, and the D from Stephanie Wu, run through D on Baudouin. Coy a chance to go back the other way.
So another opportunity for Coy's O-line to score a point.
Upfield now, looking for Petra Stevens in the end zone, and Stevens excited at first, but you could see on her face, knew that disc was just a little bit too far away. But Coy, a good shot, just need to dial in the execution.
It all started with a nice break pass from the handler number 6, Stephanie Hu, and then it opened all the field on the break side, but unfortunately still execution, unforced error from Coy.
Far side now, looking up line. Lambert with the disc. Finds Gervais Queenevelle. Petra Stevens close to that one. That's going to sail high over the heads of both the defender and Baudouin. Neither of them able to get to that one.
I believe it's the longest point we've seen so far in this game. Just the two team doing unforced error. First half of this game was on a very quick pace, while second half the points are longer.
That can be where we start to see some of the heat and exhaustion start to plague teams in the second half as well. It's Petra Stevens now shooting for the end zone. throwing her hat down in frustration there as she shot that with an inside-out edge, not the intended throw that she wanted to make. Had a wide open receiver in the end zone, and this is the difference we've seen between Koi and Venus in this game. Koi taking some of the right shots, but it's just execution errors that are separating these two teams.
Great decision. It's a matter of execution, as you very well said.
Pai now looking upline. Baudouin will chase that down. Easy into her hands and shoots into space. No problem there for Trudell with the goal. The floaty space thrown there. The disc up by Baudouin. Looked a little bit floaty, but Trudell with her speed was so open and had so much time there to reel it down, and now it's 13-3 for Venus.
So Venus leading by 10 points late in this second half, so I guess at this point they really will be looking to close the book as soon as possible to get as much rest as they can for their upcoming games against the number one seeded, the number one team into their pool, PPF. I believe they have a bye after this game, so really looking forward. And for Koi, you know, it's just a matter of, hey, let's stay focused, because so far, like, the decision making hasn't been that bad. It's just our execution, and execution, it's all about, you know, what's between your, what's in your head. So just take a breathe in, breathe out before throwing, and just put a smile on your face. Have fun. You're at Canadian Championship here. First time you experience this tournament, so just enjoy the game and don't worry about making mistakes or not making mistakes. Just have fun and smile. Alors 13-3 pour Vénus, qui mène maintenant par 10 points. L'intention de Vénus dans cette partie du match est vraiment de fermer les livres, de remporter le match le plus rapidement possible pour avoir un maximum de repos avant le prochain défi qui les attend. Ils auront un temps de repos, l'équivalent d'un match par la suite. Ils affronteront PPF, qui est classée première dans la division B.
So Dis now centered into the middle, finds the around backhand, bobbles it a little bit, but keeps that disc, and then all the way over to the other side. Venus moving the disc with so much speed into the end zone. No problem once again. Viau gets the assist to Bélanger Timothy, and they are at goal point, game point here in this pool play game.
That's the execution we've been seeing in the first half from Venus, just getting the disc back and just execute, circulating the disc without any hesitation. So I'm sure the team and the coaching staff will be very pleased with what they saw in the last point. So 1 point shy of winning the second game of the pool play here at the National Championship. I believe there's a timeout call by Koi. We're heading towards the end of the game, but if you have still timeouts, why not use them and try to get some leverage out of the time that remains inside, to get some learning also in preparation of the next game they will have to play. They will face Valkyrie from Quebec into their third and last game of the day. Alors Vénus qui mène 14-3. La Vénus qui a inscrit seulement 3 de ses 14 points avec la ligne offensive. Donc ça a été une domination de Vénus lors de ce match. Vénus qui cherchera sans aucun doute à fermer les livres lors de la prochaine opportunité qu'elles auront. Elles commenceront en défensive avec le lancé d'engagement.
So Venus just looking to close this game out. They're 1 point away now. Second half here, taking about 25 minutes to play. The first half was only 20 minutes, so despite that one really long point that we just had, Venus have been so efficient and consistent throughout the course of this game.
And they will need to maintain that efficiency throughout the tournament if they want to achieve their goals. They are pre-ranked number 8. The coaching staff were sharing that, you know, they would be happy to just keep their ranking, but you know, when you're at this point, when you make the top 8, you say, hey, well, while we're at it, might as well try to beat our ranking. So if they are playing consistently like what we've seen so far, I guess they have pretty good odds of making the top 8, and after that, anything can happen.
Tammy Doe with the disc now for Coy, and the immediate run through D. The defender there telegraphing that play completely, and Trudell tries to shoot a huck, but the hand block from Coy, and we're starting to see more of these turns have been actual Ds made by Coy rather than mistakes by Venus as well, and that's got to feel good for them moving into their next games today and tomorrow.
And it's all about building up for the remaining of the tournament at this point for Coy.
Upline, Stephanie Wu. That one was a little bit behind her, so she can't keep that one in the possession of Coy, but Venus, disc about at half field. They'll center to the middle, looking to close this one out. Trudell fakes the backhand, now looking for a reset instead. Goes up line, Pai with space in front of her, but that disc sailed over her head. Now Stephanie Wu. Strong person-to-person defense here from Venus. Coy having a hard time finding options. They have to go through tight inside-out spaces. Again with the inside-out shot. Michelle Cho now finds Noelle on the near sideline. Noelle shoots another inside one, but that one can't be hung on to by Lauren Borgia.
You see Coy's offense, which is pretty static when it comes time to cut. So, and that's probably a result of all the pressuring that Venus has been doing on a women-to-women basis. So at one point you never get open, so you stop cutting. So that's what we saw in the last sequence.
Stephanie Wu now for Coy, looking to extend this game a little bit longer as Tammy Doe goes up line. Doe into the end zone. Coy get their hold, make this game last a little bit longer as they now trail Venus 14-4.
So great execution in the last yards of the field from Coy. I'm sure they will be very pleased with that point. So it will be interesting to see how Coy will respond on defense. Now, will they come out with a zone defense? Because there have been some. They have driven some turnover with that zone defense earlier in the second half. So they're still trailing by 10, but as you mentioned, Becky, at this point it's all about building up for the upcoming games.
Yeah, and the ability to maybe get another break here on Venus, start to work on their consistency and a little bit of just valuing the disc here will really help them. They're going to be facing Valkyrie next as well, and Valkyrie and Coy, from the scores we've seen, seem to be fairly evenly matched. That's hard to tell just from looking at scores, of course, but it could be a really close game. And if they can figure out some of those execution, it could be a game that they might look at winning.
So just a word on the facilities here, on the venues. The fields are awesome. The setup is very well. I arrived only this morning, and I was very pleased with the setup with the fields and all the tent. So a great organization by Ultimate Canada. So congratulations.
And Coy managed to get a D here off Venus. Lim will pick up, looking to get only their second break of the game as the disc is brought into play. Reset to the middle for Chin. And then that one too low on the second reset, and Venus still looking here to finish the game as that one goes to the sideline. Maltino resets now. Vio shoots a high release backhand. That one faked off.
So you see Venus coaching calling end zone, making sure they execute well. So Vio's going for the break side flick, but I don't know if it was tipped off by Coy's defender, but regardless what happened, it's a turnover favoring Coy. So we just heard the wind picked up in the last few instants of the game.
That one just too low again, and the same mistakes happening here now for Coy. Vio with the disc. Finds Goulet. Goulet looking to the sideline, but that one's going to sail out of bounds, and that wind is pushing towards that sideline just a little bit, which is going to cause those throws to sail out of bounds if you are throwing to that sideline, so need to just tailor those in a little bit.
Sometimes when you want to close the books on a game, you play a little too tight, or you just want to do things too quickly.
And that is going to be the win here for Venus. Goulet picking it up, shooting straight to the end zone for a wide open Martineau. They take this game 15-4. Etienne. Venus absolutely dominant throughout this entire game.
Yeah, Coy was only able to score 1 point in the first half, but they kind of regrouped in the second half with 3 points, and one of these points was a break point. So I think Venus was like, it was their game. Everything they were doing was just happening, and just the way the eagerness they came out with, and in the beginning of the game just like broke Coy's back right off the back, and great game by Venus. Great learning from Coy, and looking forward to see these two teams later in the tournament.
So that will do it for us this first stream of the day. We have lots more action coming up for you today on ultimatecanada.tv. You can tune in to see Queen City Kings take on the Silverbacks in the Open Masters division at 12:35. And later today, we've got an open pool play matchup between Alberta Flatball Club and Grand Trunk. So lots of great action today. It's Becky Thompson up here in the booth with Etienne Fournier. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be back soon.